The judge will appoint a guardian ad litem to do an independent investigation. It's supposed to be a neutral party in the community, typically an attorney or a lay person who's supervised by an attorney, to conduct the investigation and provide a recommendation about what's in a child or family's best interest.
When is a guardian ad litem necessary? We're speaking with attorney Michelle Martin about that on today's Ask the Lawyer. Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with talking a little bit about the function of a guardian ad litem.
Right. So the function of a guardian ad litem is to protect the interest of a child in a proceeding concerning an alleged or adjudicated abuse, neglect, or dependency, or an unruly charges. A guardian ad litem's function can also come into play when there are children who are within the state's child welfare system and they don't necessarily have parent or guardian or legal custodian.
So what types of cases do guardian ad litems usually get involved in, and how do they come about into a case?
Right. So, guardian ad litem is typically appointed by a court when a child has been either investigated and the investigation finds that there's substantiated allegations sufficient enough to enter into a court proceeding. During those court proceedings, the judge will appoint a guardian ad litem to do an independent investigation. It's supposed to be a neutral party in the community, typically an attorney or a lay person who's supervised by an attorney, to conduct the investigation and provide a recommendation about what's in a child or family's best interest. I've seen these cases arrive a lot when a family has been accused of abuse, neglect, dependency, unruly behavior, delinquent minors. And there also, these cases also arise where the guardian ad litem's role arises when there are civil matters, such as a custody matter or a domestic relations matter, such as a divorce. There's also matters where a guardian ad litem can be useful in civil matters where there are settlement funds that are going to be released to a minor in a wrongful death or some other type of civil matter, civil litigation.
So in those family law cases, such as divorce or child custody, who does the guardian ad litem typically represent? Is it normally the child?
Right. So the guardian ad litem in those matters, they don't represent the child per se, and that's a great question. A lot of times people get it confused because they say, "Well, you're my child's attorney." Here in Franklin County, we actually have a court-appointed attorney that can be appointed for a child if the child and the guardian ad litem have a conflict of interest. And so conflicts of interest can arise when the guardian who's been appointed by the court to make a recommendation about what's in a child's best interest does not agree with what the child believes may be in their best interest as it relates to custody matters. And so a guardian ad litem is really just hired by the court or appointed by the court to investigate about what may be in a family or a child's best interest.
And what about in cases of child abuse or child neglect? Do you also serve as a guardian ad litem? And what is your role in those proceedings?
Yeah, so in those proceedings, it really doesn't, the role is very similar in all of the court proceedings. The way in which you conduct your investigation can be somewhat different depending on the type of proceeding. And in an abuse or neglect matter, the investigation, of course, is going to focus on the safety, welfare, and any health hazards related to the family or the children, any situations that may present a risk of harm for the child or children in the family. You want to focus on, of course, any of the substantiated allegations that were found in the complaint. You want to focus on any type of school involvement, any a lot of the families and the children, they already are connected with the community resources. So you want to make sure that they remain engaged and that they're utilizing and optimizing those opportunities to get as much community engagement and assistance as possible.
So we've spoken a lot about this in cases of children. What about a guardian ad litem in the case of an adult? And more specifically, can this arise in a personal injury case?
So I have not personally represented any adults for guardian ad litem cases in a civil matter. The bulk of my practice focuses on those juveniles who receive funds related to a civil matter, and or who have been harmed themselves in a personal injury matter. However, I have had an opportunity to see how folks who are either unable to participate on their own behalf because of some type of mental health issue that they may be dealing with, whether it be a temporary issue, linked to the trauma involved in a civil matter or civil injury, or whether it be more permanent or a more permanent matter where someone just may not be able to make their own decisions, and they may have the help of a power of attorney who's at play. A guardian ad litem has been appointed in those matters by the court to help the court determine what to do with those funds, because what you may have is a guardian over the estate and a guardian over the person. And the person who has the guardianship, which is somewhat different than a guardian ad litem relationship, but the person that has the guardianship over the person, that's the person who served as like a power of attorney who would help make decisions as to healthcare matters. And then you have the guardianship over the estate. And that's going to be the person who's going to report to the probate court all of the financial matters and the day-to-day kind of operations of that person and their particular personal finance. So I have not had that experience. However, I know that it can be very helpful to the courts because it allows, it serves as an oversight function and provides what's in the best interest for that adult who may be suffering from some type of vulnerability.
So their role might be slightly different from that in, say, a family law case.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for, again, inviting me to interview and answer the questions, the very good questions. And I appreciate this.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been Michelle Martin. If you want to ask her a question about your situation, you can call the number on the screen. Thanks for watching. I'm Molly Hendrickson for Ask the Lawyers.